All right, welcome out to 365 Pro Sports Talk, where today we have a guest. He's going to be on the show pretty much from now on, about every week. TJ, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. How about you, Gabriel?
Well, I'm doing good, man. We're just going to start week 7 of the NFL. Also have Seth. Seth's been on a couple of times. Seth, how you doing this evening?
Doing great, Gabriel. How you doing, buddy?
We're doing good for a Tuesday. So we've got two podcasts. The first one we're going to do is, of course, like I said, the 365 Pro Sports Podcast, where we're going to be making our predictions. Myself and the guys are going to be making the predictions. Week 7 of the NFL. We've got a Thursday game, and then we've got, of course, the Sunday games, and then we got the Monday night game. And so if you guys are ready, we'll get started. So we'll start off with Thursday's game, where we have the 1-5 New York Giants. They'll be traveling to Philadelphia to play the Eagles. The Eagles are 1-4-1. Now, I'm going to start off with Seth. Seth, you know how bad this division is. Our Cowboys are in this division. I don't know who's going to win it yet. So what are your thoughts? Who do you have? Who are you predicting, the New York Giants or the Philadelphia Eagles?
This one, Gabriel, I'm gonna go with the Giants on the road. I just think, with them getting that win a few weeks ago, I think that really put a lot in their confidence, and they looked pretty good this past Sunday, but they, of course they lost again. But I'm gonna take the Giants over the Eagles, and you're right, this division is crazy right now, and it's up for grabs, and Dallas is still in the lead even though they lost last night.
Yeah, we took a butt whipping last night. But so you're
Yeah.
taking the Giants, right?
I'm taking the Giants, yes.
TJ, who do you have, the Giants or the Eagles?
All right. Well, this is a toss-up, a battle of two gridiron giants. Two one-team win teams. I'm going with the Philadelphia Eagles on this one. I know the Eagles are struggling on offense, but I have a feeling that Carson Wentz might have to sit out this game, and they're going to put in the former Alabama/Oklahoma quarterback, Jalen Hurts. I feel like they did a tremendous job with Jalen Hurts, and yes, the Eagles are down with injuries on both sides of the ball, but I think that Hurts and Rager can click like that. So I'm going with the Eagles on that.
Yeah, guys, I got to take the Eagles too. I think with Barkley out, there's not really much offense. I know they scored 34 points or something on Dallas, but that Dallas defense is bad. I think any team in the NFL could score 30 plus points right on that Cowboy defense. So I wasn't really impressed. But I think that the Giants are struggling. I think Philadelphia, they're better, I think, on paper. And they're at home, even though there's not a crowd. I just think Philadelphia is the better team. And so right now I'm taking Philadelphia to beat the Giants on Thursday night. We'll see what happens come Thursday. And now we'll get into our Sunday games. The first game we'll talk about is the Cleveland Browns at 4-2. They'll be traveling to Cincinnati to play the Bengals and Joe Burrows. They're at 1-4-1. That's a 12 o'clock noon game on CBS. TJ, I'll go with you first. Who do you have, the Browns or the Bengals?
Uh, I'm gonna have to go with the Browns on this one. Their defense is too much for that Cincinnati offense. Last time they played against each other, they had a tremendous game. But here's the thing, though. You can't win games if you don't have an offense or a defense. And something that has bothered me with Cincinnati was their offensive line has been struggling around their quarterback, their future quarterback, Joe Burrow. And it drives me insane that the secondary in Cincinnati, they just get blown out of coverage almost every play. So I'm gonna have to go with the Cleveland Browns, even though they struggled against the Steelers last week. So taking
Seth?
the
I'm gonna go the other way. I think, Joe Burrow has been he's been beaten up these last few weeks and stuff, but Cleveland's coming off that big loss to Pittsburgh, and I just think that they're not gonna. I don't think they're also going on the road again. I don't think they're gonna be as focused going into this game as they think they should be. I think they're gonna overlook Burrow and the Bengals in this one.
I like both. I like Joe Burrows, as I've said in this podcast before. Joe Burrows to me is, I started watching him his senior year at LSU, and man, he just impressed me. I was kind of worried about him going to Cincinnati simply because Cincinnati's been bad for so long. They really got to build a team around. They've got a franchise quarterback in Joe Burrows. I know that Cleveland got killed last week, but I think they're the better team. Odell Beckham Jr. I know there was some maybe injuries to um, the Cleveland quarterback to Mayfield, but I got to go with Cleveland because I just think they're the better team. I think they're going to bounce back from this loss. I've liked the way that they played pretty much this year. So I think they'll go into Cincinnati and I think they'll get the win. I think they'll bounce back. I don't think they'll have a bad performance 2 weeks in a row. So I look for Cleveland to bounce back, have a better game, and beat the Bengals on Sunday.
yeah.
Gabe, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I just have to add on to that. Like, uh, Baker Mayfield did get sit out, so he's probably going to be motivated to show the critics off again. I have a good feeling about Baker Mayfield scoring 3 touchdowns this game.
Well, here's the question, TJ. Was he benched because of his bad performance, or was he benched because there were rumors that he was kind of sore too, pretty bad. So was it a
Yeah,
combination of both, or was it just that he was just playing bad that they benched him?
I think it was a combination of both. Um, you know, you can't have your star quarterback go out there and play like that if he's sore. So I think he's going to bounce back this week. I think he's going to have 3 touchdowns to Odell Beckham Jr. and also Jarvis Landry. Uh, two intricate parts of the receiving core. So I think that the Browns will take this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and go with you on the Browns too. But Seth's taking the Bengals, so we'll see what happens when we break this game down on
Any
on
given
Monday
week
night.
in the NFL, man. Any given week in the NFL.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah,
The
this
next
year's
game.
crazy too.
It is. It really is. It really is. With all these injuries, and we're not even we're about halfway through the season
Yeah,
yet.
we're not even halfway yet.
God, you
Not
know,
even.
not even. So, yeah, the next game on our schedule, you have the 2-4 Dallas Cowboys. They'll be traveling to Washington to play the Washington football team. That's a 12 noon on Fox. Washington is 1-5. Cowboys 2-4. Seth, who do you have, man? Your Dallas Cowboys or the Washington? I mean, which team is worse?
Gabriel, before I make this pick, I actually got a notification just now saying that Randy Gregory is eligible to play for the Cowboys this week, but who knows if he will or not. But getting back to the subject of the matter, I'm gonna roll with the Cowboys here. I think they're the better team going in there, but I think Washington has the better defense. But I just think there'll be more focus coming in this week. I think Mike McCarthy is going to get after him. I think after seeing what happened last night, I think from top to bottom, I think they just got to do a clean slate, and they're just got to play. There's tons of injuries. There's everything with this team, but they're just got to power through it.
TJ.
Well, I do have to say I was disappointed in the Cowboys' performance yesterday. Where was the defense at? And the offense, they struggled with Andy Dalton. But like Seth said, I'm going with the Cowboys because I just think that Washington hasn't found their identity on offense yet. They have a defense. They just don't have that offensive identity. You can't just depend on your defense every play. So I'm going with the Cowboys by 2 touchdowns.
I'm going to vent a little bit here before we move on to the next game with the Cowboys. And I've done this a couple of times this year on this podcast. Um, that goes down, and I hear all week that they're going to keep the offense the same with Andy Dalton. And I thought, Andy Dalton is not your regular backup quarterback, right? He's been to the Pro Bowl. He's really good. So I thought, okay, this might work. I thought that the Cowboy defense came out. They started the game off okay. Then
Yeah.
Zeke fumbles the ball twice.
Mm.
Zeke, you need to be a leader. Fumbling the ball twice just did not make sense to me. Took the momentum away from Dallas, gave it to Arizona, and they never looked back. And then the defense started to fall apart, and they regressed to what we've seen all year. Just big play after big play on the pass. They can't cover the pass. They can't cover the run. This is a really bad football team right now. I love the Dallas Cowboys, and I'm going to stick with them even if they don't win a game the rest of the season. But it's heartbreaking to see these Dallas Cowboys play the way they do. And then you go to work, and then you got to hear all those Cowboy haters jump on you because they're looking for you now because you've lost.
Yeah.
Because I'm talking
Yeah.
if we win. So I got to take it when we lose. And I think I want to be
Yep.
taking a lot of it this year. But outside of that, I don't know that McCarthy can fix this team. There's a lot of injuries on the offensive side of the ball. I don't know where you're going to go out and try to get leadership from because even your leader that should be Zeke is struggling now. So this is a really bad football team now. On paper, they still got the weapons outside. Andy Dalton can still be an effective quarterback. I don't know if it's the play calling, but right now, nothing's really going right for the Cowboys. And I think that Mike McCarthy, and I want to say here, I like the hiring of Mike McCarthy, and I think he will turn it around. I just don't know if he's going to do it this year. This is a football team that it's just not, it's not that it's not good, but I don't see a sense of urgency from these guys. They're just
Yeah.
allowing big plays and they're allowing big runs. And so I don't know if they're going to be able to bounce back this year. I hope they do, but he's got his work cut out for him. That being said, I don't think Washington is a good football team as well. And if I had to pick between both of these teams, I would pick the Dallas Cowboys simply because they've got those three receivers and they still got Zeke and they got Andy Dalton. So they're the better offensive team, like TJ was talking. Washington's offense really doesn't have an identity. They're really still struggling. Dallas on offense is a lot better. They have more. They're capable of putting up 30 points versus Washington. So I'm going to stick with the Cowboys and hope that we will be 3-4 at the end of this week. But if we lose, it wouldn't surprise me the way we've been playing. So I'm going to go with the Cowboys. I think we all picked the Dallas Cowboys, and hopefully, we can get a win on Sunday.
Cowboys
Yeah.
by a field goal.
I got them by 2 touchdowns.
I got him by a field goal.
I didn't
And-
make a prediction. I just want them to win, man.
Yeah.
I know.
We all
Same
do.
here.
We all do. But here's my thing with Washington too. You got Alex Smith coming back from a horrifying leg injury, right? He hasn't been this. Nobody's going to be the same coming out from that. Coming back from that injury that Alex Smith did, and he only threw for what was it, 36 passing yards
Yeah.
against.
Oh, I mean, that's tough. He's been out of football for 2 years.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
Really tough.
So you're having a quarterback coming back from 2 years. If you're Washington, I would try to protect that quarterback as quickly as possible and as sufficiently as possible. Otherwise, he's going to have that leg injury again, and he's not going to be able to play ever again. And it's a shame because I really do like Alex Smith. I really do.
Yeah.
And one of the few underrated quarterbacks in the history of the NFL, in my opinion. So that's what I have to say about Washington. I don't think they're gonna win. I just need them to protect Alex Smith for his safety, and if they're gonna try to win games, if they're gonna try to have an identity around him, so they need to protect Alex Smith. That is the key focus of this game for Washington. Dallas, turnovers have to be eliminated, and the defense cannot get gassed out. Or, like I said, Alex Smith, he's an underrated quarterback. He will hit the spots. I saw a shine of light when he was throwing the ball last week. So
Yeah.
there's my points of that game for the Cowboys and the Washington football
I
team.
mean, he was trying to make plays whenever he could. He just, he did all he could when he was trying to make
Yeah,
the plays.
and
Yeah.
that's part of the offensive line that I stress about. They
Yeah. I mean, it's bad when you only got one starting lineman left.
Yeah, and plus you're not gonna run the ball every down, every play, So you got a
Yeah,
pretty good quarterback. So
yeah, they do. And if you're Dallas, you need to test Alex and see just how healthy he is. You don't want to hurt him, but you definitely want to come after him because if you don't, he's going to pick you apart. And this Dallas defense, that secondary really can't cover well. So they've got to be able to put pressure on Alex Smith to get the win, I think. But we'll see what Dallas does. This has been, like I said, a team right now that is not very good on the football field. The next game we'll talk about are the Kansas City Chiefs at 5-1. They'll be traveling to Denver to play the Broncos. Um, that's a 3:25 p.m. game. TJ, who do you got, KC or the Broncos? Broncos coming off a pretty big win over the Patriots last week.
yeah, I was actually really impressed with the way Denver played against New England. Bill Belichick and the Patriots, huh? I'm sticking with Andy Reid and the Chiefs on this one. Uh, they just added on a really good running back that's probably going out for blood now, Le'Veon Bell. Now they got a two-headed monster in the backfield. They got a two-headed monster in the receiving core. They got a potential greatest quarterback in the history of the NFL, and they got one of the best tight ends in the NFL. And you can't just skip the underrated defense of the Chiefs either. They held Deshaun Watson. They held Lamar Jackson in rushing yards. They
Like
held
what
him
they
in
just
rushing.
did to Josh Allen yesterday.
Yes, exactly, exactly. So I'm going with the Chiefs on this one. Uh, Credit to Denver for beating the Patriots, but the Chiefs, they're too much for the Broncos, in my opinion. I feel like the Broncos, they'll eventually be at that point where they could compete against the Chiefs, but they're going to have to do it during this offseason, with trades and draft picks and free agency signings. So I got the Chiefs by double digits on this one.
Seth?
Yeah, I'm taking the Chiefs as well. I'm actually going to take them as a 3-touchdown lead in this one. I just think they're too much for Denver as well. Hats off to Denver for the big win over New England last night. I just don't think that they got the talent. I just don't think they're they got the talent to beat Kansas City. Kansas City's too much. They just had Le'Veon Bell, like TJ said. Also, like he was saying, their defense really is underrated if you really think about it. That team really doesn't give up that much points, and we seen yesterday what they did to stop the Bills, and Kansas City with that run game won them that game yesterday.
Well, I'll tell you this. It was a great win by the Broncos to beat the Patriots, but the Chiefs aren't the Patriots. This is another beast you'll be playing this week. Nowhere near what the Patriots are. So they've just got weapons everywhere, and they can beat you so many ways. And their defense is just as good. And Denver's not at 100%. I don't see Denver. I don't even give them a chance to win this game. And I think Kansas City is going to win big. They're the Chiefs, man. Come on. I
Oh,
think
yeah.
they'll be back in the
Defending Super Bowl champs for a reason, man.
Right. So I'm going Kansas City as well. I think we all are. It'd be crazy to pick against them on Sunday.
Yeah.
The next game we got the San Francisco 49ers at 3-3. They'll be traveling to play the New England Patriots at 2-3. Seth, that's a 3:25 game. So Seth and I were talking about this earlier. Seth, who do you have?
After watching the Cardinals last night, I'm taking them at home to beat the Niners, but I think it'll be I'm not saying they're going to go out there and blow them out, but I'm saying that this is going to be a down to the wire game, and I think Arizona wins it by either a field goal or a touchdown. I just love the way that they were playing last night, especially their defense. Buda Baker, hats off to that guy, man. That guy is something special right now in the way he's playing. And also, Kyler Murray on the other side of the ball, him and DeAndre Hopkins hooking up a lot. Also he has Larry Fitz there. The only thing I'd say that's not good about Arizona is their run game. They really don't have a run game established. And of course, you got Seattle coming in, and we can't take no credit. Russell Wilson's a great quarterback. He's on the verge of an MVP season. But this is the NFL, and on any given Sunday, anything can happen. And I think if this game were played in Seattle, I think I'd be taking the Seahawks at home instead of the Cardinals. But I'm going to take the Cardinals in this one to win a really close game.
Okay, but who do you have, the 49ers or the Patriots?
Oh, it's the Niners. My bad. Sorry. This is the oh yeah. I'm taking the Cardinals. This is the Patriots. Oh, I'm on the wrong game. I'm sorry, man. I'm on the wrong game. I'm sorry, man.
We already know who you got. Are you taking the 49ers or the Patriots? Who you got?
I'm sorry. I got the wrong game in my head. Sorry. I'm taking the Patriots. I'm going to take the Patriots home. I know they just lost to the Broncos, and you got Jimmy G coming back in to play against New England and his former coach, Bill Belichick. But I just, I think Belichick's going to have a good game plan coming into this one against Jimmy G. He knows Jimmy G in and out. Like, he coached the guy for years in New England. He was the backup quarterback. So, pretty sure he has an idea of how to dissect that offense down and also, get his game plan going against the Niners defense, which is still kind of banged up. And I just, with them coming on the road to New England against Belichick, I always learned, you never pick against them at home, even though they don't have Brady. But I just, Bill Belichick, that's the mind of Bill Belichick.
Hey, TJ, before you make your pick, this is probably going to come down to coaching because I agree with Seth, man. He knows. This Belichick is so good at breaking these guys down. So you're going to have Kyle Shanahan against Bill Belichick. Who do you got, the 49ers or the Patriots?
I'm actually agreeing with Seth on this one. Bill Belichick, he knows the ins and outs of Jimmy G. But I have to say this: it's going to come down to defense. It's going to be a defensive struggle. I think the Patriots are going to win, but they're going to win by 6 points. It's just going to depend on who's going to beat who. As far as like coaching, it's just going to be a coaching battle. And if the Patriots could stop Jimmy G and that offense, then the Patriots got the dub, in my opinion. But if the 49ers defense can hold Cam Newton in that offense, because the way I've seen New England, they've ran different game plans for each game, So Bill Belichick knows what he's doing, and he's proven that he could do things without Brady. So I have the Patriots on this one.
This is a good one. I was just I had already picked the 49ers, but I'm going to switch it. A lot of what you guys are saying makes sense. I just kind of, it just kind of popped into my head. Forget the players. It's about the coaching, because I think this is going to come down to the coaching, and I think Belichick's going to have a better game plan than Kyle Shanahan. Like you said, he knows the quarterback. He knows how to break him down. And if there's one coach in that NFL that's really good about putting a game plan together and executing it, that's Bill Belichick. So I'm going to go ahead and change it. I'm going to go with you guys, and I'm going to take the New England Patriots. They're at home, even though there's no fans, and I think they'll be ready. And Cam just had a really bad game, so they're going to be hungry to come out and prove that they're legit in this game. So I think you're going to get the best of Cam Newton. So I'm going to go ahead and go with the Patriots. I will say this, though. I hope the San Francisco 49ers win. I do not like the New England Patriots whatsoever.
Who does,
Yeah.
I have a buddy.
Just to add on what... sorry.
No,
and just to add what TJ said about, it being a defensive struggle, I agree there too, because I think this could also be a game of field goals. Could also be a game of field goals.
Yeah, exactly.
It's going to come down to the defense. Next game we'll talk about, you got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 4-2. They'll be traveling to play the Las Vegas Raiders at 3-2. It's a Sunday night game at 7:20. TJ, I'll let you take first shot at this. Man, who do you got, Tampa or Las Vegas? This is going to be a good one.
Oh, man. This, if it wasn't the Steelers and the Titans as the game of the week, I would have picked this as the game of the week. You got John Gruden, who coached both of these teams. led the Bucks to the Super Bowl against the Raiders. So a little bit of history between these two teams. Now, fast forward into today's game that's coming up this Sunday. You got Tom Brady, who has worn a Patriots uniform for since the Stone Age, you know?
Yeah.
So, and you got a hungry young Raiders defense and hungry offense of the Raiders defense. Derek Carr has improved. He's got weapons. The Bucks, they're young, they're hungry, and they got a veteran quarterback. And it's a toss. It's a toss up for me on this one, but I think I'm riding with the black and silver. I'm going with the Las Vegas Raiders.
Seth?
Yeah, like TJ was saying, both these teams, they got pretty, honestly, when you look at it, both these teams got pretty solid defenses. And I just, you got Brady versus Derek Carr, John Gruden on the other side, Bruce Arians on the other side. This could be another game of coaching. These are two good head coaches as well. And, man, I just think when it comes down to it, I think I can't pick against Brady. You saw what Brady did last week against Aaron Rodgers at home against the Green Bay Packers, and of course they were undefeated. That was a dang good football team, and I can't see. But I think this one's going to go down to the wire. I think it's going to be a really close game, but I think Tampa pulls it out with a touchdown over the Raiders in Las Vegas. Brady playing in Las Vegas for the first time in his career. Coming into this one.
Oh yeah.
I'm going Tampa Bay too. I'm not going to go against Brady. And
Tampa really impressed me last week, man. Like it was.
They beat a good Green Bay team, and they didn't just beat them; they beat them. So I'm going to go with Tampa. But the Raiders are hungry, as TJ said. This is a team that's out to prove something. They got a chip on their shoulder. They're a very dangerous team. Tom Brady's going to have to come out, and they're going to have to play a really good game to beat the Raiders. The Raiders, they want to prove that they belong in the postseason. They've got a chip on their shoulder. They've got a vision, and they're playing hard every week. So in order for Tampa to beat the Raiders, we've got to get the Tom Brady of this past Sunday. We can't get the 2 interception Tom Brady, because if he starts turning that ball over again, it's over. The Raiders will beat them. I'm betting that we're going to get the this past Sunday's Tom Brady, and so I'm going to go with the Bucks.
One more thing on this is, who knows, we might end up getting the Raiders team that beat the Chiefs a few weeks back. You
exactly. Never know. That's what I see in this game. In this big game type of situation, the Raiders have played well. Like they held Patrick Mahomes in check. Pat Mahomes, sidearm Pat Mahomes. If the Raiders defense could do that against Tom Brady, they will win this game. It's just going to depend on how well the offense does for the Raiders. That's my biggest worry about Las Vegas.
Yeah,
and
I think one advantage that the Raiders have over the Bucks is the running game.
Yes, I agree. I agree.
We'll see what happens come Sunday. That's a Sunday night game as well. Our next game on our schedule, got the Detroit Lions at 2-3. They'll be playing the 1-5 Atlanta Falcons. That's a noon game. Atlanta just got their first win. We know that Atlanta's a good team. They're better than what their record shows. They've got a new coach, interim coach Seth. Who do you got, the Lions or the Falcons?
Yeah, this one's the toss-up for me on this whole NFL schedule this weekend. And we saw Atlanta win their first game last week, and they looked pretty well without Dan Quinn at the helm. And they really impressed me last week. I think I'm gonna take them in this one. I think they're gonna catch Detroit slipping. I think Detroit's probably not gonna come into this game 100% on their game plan, and I think Atlanta's gonna take it by 10 points.
I'm gonna have to agree with Seth on this one. If the Falcons don't blow a lead, okay?
Yes. Yeah.
That's been the theme for the Falcons. Week 1, week 2, the Super Bowl, they've blown leads, But I feel like the Falcons, the way they played against Carolina last week, they're They just proved themselves that they can win a game without blowing a lead. I mean, and Detroit, they played a weaker Jacksonville team. You know, Jacksonville, they don't have an identity. Detroit doesn't have an identity. From what I've seen, but Atlanta, they're starting to click. They're starting to feel that rhythm, and they just got rid of Dan Quinn, which I thought was a smart idea by the organization.
Oh, he shouldn't have been there.
He shouldn't have been there.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna have to go with Atlanta. It's gonna be a closer game than what Seth was saying, but I have to take Atlanta by 10.
Yeah, I'm going to Atlanta. I've been saying that Atlanta, they're better than 1-5. I think they're the better team than Detroit, even though their record doesn't say that. But I'm going with Atlanta to win at home against the Detroit Lions. I think it'll be a close one, but I'm going to Atlanta. Next game that we'll talk about is the game of the week, I guess, for us. It's the Pittsburgh Steelers at 5-0, traveling to play the Tennessee Titans at 5-0. TJ, I'll let you take this one. This is a noon game on Sunday. Who do you have, man? The Steelers or the Titans?
Oh man, this game's got me hyped. You got Big Ben for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and then you got that monster Derrick Henry on the opposite side of the ball for Tennessee Titans. But I'm gonna have to go with the Pittsburgh Steelers on this. They actually have dominated this season. Defensively, offensively, you could say the rest. But I'm going with Pittsburgh, and I think it's gonna be an extended lead for Pittsburgh. I think that Pittsburgh's gonna show Tennessee that they're not the team that they think they are, and they're gonna try to shut down Derrick Henry for Tennessee. So I got Pittsburgh on this one.
Seth?
You know, like TJ said, it's going to be a really good game. It's going to be it's going to be the Pittsburgh's, you know, the best defense. Well, not, I wouldn't say the best defense, but one of the best defenses on the league that Pittsburgh has against this Tennessee offense. This game is going to be won in the trenches. That's where this game is going to be heading. It's going to be a battle in the trenches. You know, the running game of the Titans, the run defense of the Steelers. Now, of course, you know, you can't ever count Big Ben out on the other side of the football on the offense. And, of course, he's got another target now. He's got Juju now. He's got the young rookie Chase Claypool out of Notre Dame. But on the other side, you also have a good quarterback in Ryan Tannehill. And look what he did this past week against I think they played the Bills, right?
Bills Mafia. Mafia.
And he torched that defense, and they have a pretty good defense themselves. But my thing in this game is going to be, can Derrick Henry run on this defense? Can he get the monster numbers that he gets every week? And you know, I'm going to go on the line. I'm going to say that they are going to do it. I think Tennessee's going to win this game. I mean, I want to see this. I think this is the perfect opportunity to see how good this Steelers defense really is. I mean, I think the best team so far that they've played this year is the Browns. And, you know, we've seen how that happened last week. I just think this is a really good football team coming in to play them, and I think Tennessee's going to win it by a touchdown.
Yes.
I'm going Tennessee, and the only thing I want to say is Henry.
Yeah.
Hopefully the Steelers defense don't get pushed around like Josh Norman did.
Yeah. For real.
I'm sorry. I felt bad for Josh Norman.
But this is. I mean, if you like trench wear football, this is the game for everybody. I think this is going to be the game that's going to be won in the trenches.
It's gonna bring back the 1960s feel of the NFL, where you had two great offenses like run. It's gonna remind you of old school football, smash mouth.
It's going to remind you of Jim Brown running the football against
Jack Lambert.
Yeah, against Jack Lambert and the Steelers. Yeah, that's what. Steel Curtain. Yep.
Steel Curtain. The guy with the missing teeth.
Yeah.
This is going to be a really good game, and I'm going to be watching it come Sunday. Next game on the schedule, got Carolina Panthers at 500, 3-3. They'll be traveling to play Drew Brees and the Saints at 3-2. TJ, who do you have? Are you taking the Saints, or do the Panthers have a chance? Any chance of beating the Saints? Do the Panthers have any chance of beating Drew Brees in New Orleans?
I think it's gonna be a close one. The Saints, they've been struggling this season. Drew Brees, he's on his last leg this season. From what I have seen in the past few weeks and what's been going on in the locker room, the deal with Michael Thomas, rumors spreading around about Michael Thomas wanting to leave. I just feel like the Saints team is just confused right now, but don't count them out to be a playoff contender and a division champion on this one. It's going to be a toss-up, but I think that the Panthers offense is too young to face that Saints defense. So I'm going to go with I'm going to go with the Saints by a field goal on this one.
Seth?
Yeah, like TJ said, Drew Brees hasn't really looked he's looked good, but he hasn't looked like complete Drew Brees this year. And of course, Michael Thomas has been out majority of the year. He had that injury week 1. And watching Carolina this past Sunday against the Bears, and how good their defense is, and he was actually moving the ball on them. And I was like, wow, he's actually in this game with Chicago right now. I couldn't believe it. I was like, okay. And they actually had a shot to win it there at the end, and they just really impressed me this past week. I think, they might actually – I mean, I know how good the Saints defense is too, but you also have to look back a few weeks ago when they played the Chargers and how Justin Herbert was tearing that secondary apart. And
yeah,
I feel like Teddy Bridgewater has a good enough chance to do that too coming into this game, and I think they're going to catch New Orleans sleeping this week, and I think they take the win by a field goal.
So you're going Carolina?
Going Carolina.
I like the way Carolina's looked this year. And I think they're going to get better next year. But I don't think they're going to beat the Saints on Sunday. I'm going to go with experience. I just think Drew Brees, I can see a path where the younger team can beat the Saints. The Saints are beatable. They're not that dominant team that they have been the last few years. But I think they still have enough in the tank. Because when you got Drew Brees back there and that experience, I mean, if you've got 2 minutes, 3 minutes left for a drive, it's tied, or you need a field goal, that's still one of the guys, top 3 guys you want to have that ball. So I think in Sunday's matchup, I think that the Saints will beat Carolina. I think it'll be close. And I think, like TJ said, I just think Carolina is young. That offense is still young. They're going to make mistakes. And I think a team like the Saints are going to – and a guy like Brees will cash in on those mistakes. So I'm going to go with the Saints, but this is going to be a good one. Carolina's on the right path. They're going to be moving up. And next year, they're going to win more games, I think, than they will this year. But that's a team that's on the right path to becoming successful in the NFL.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
I completely agree with you. They got a young team, but they have the potential of being a good team within the next couple of years. Like they could possibly go back to the days where Jake Delhomme was over there at quarterback with Jonathan Stewart and D'Angelo Williams. They have that shot, but the Carolina's organization, they gotta help that offense out. They gotta help that defense out.
And I think the big thing that's killing them right now is not having Christian McCaffrey in the game.
Yes, exactly. That's another problem that they have. They lost Christian McCaffrey, and without McCaffrey, they really don't have an identity on offense, I think. So it's gonna be a close game. Don't get me wrong. It's gonna be a close game. Yeah. It could go either way, but I still got to go with experience. I still got to go with a team that has a little bit better talent on both sides of the ball. You got Cameron Jordan, you got Latavius Murray, you got Alvin Kamara,
Marshawn Lattimore,
and Marshawn Lattimore. So you can't pick against the Saints against this young injury team right now. I expect them to get better and better and better, but I just can't pick against the Saints on this one, you know?
Yeah, I think the Saints win, and I'm going to take the Saints. It's going to be a good one, though. Next game on our schedule, we got the Buffalo Bills 4-2. They'll be traveling to play the 0-6 Jets. That's a noon game. God, the Jets look just horrible. I mean, that's probably the one team that's worse than the Cowboys in the NFL right now. So, Seth, I'll go to you first. Who do you got, man? Can the Jets beat
All
the
I'm going to
Bills?
say is Josh Allen and the Bills big in this one. Probably about 4 touchdowns.
TJ?
Oh man, where do I begin? The Jets. Oh, good lord. Every time I watch the Jets, it just reminds me of a decade of travesty and just pure
They're,
embarrassment.
they're the new age Cleveland Browns.
That's what it's come down to. That the Browns pass the torch to the Jets and say, "Here you go, little brother. It's your turn." You know. No, what am I talking about? The Jets are the best NFL team. I'm going with Bills Mafia, 45-14.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, guys, I'm going with the Bills too, and I'm going something like 40-something. They'll win by 3+ touchdowns. Listen, the Jets
Yeah.
they're bad. They've got to figure out everything. Their management, I think they've got poor management, GMs. They've got a bad coach. I think they've got players that look confused. They got a quarterback that I think has potential, but he just doesn't have the right leadership around him to get him to the next level. This is a really bad football team that could
That's who I
go
feel bad.
without winning a game this year. This is a really bad football team. They can't win. They don't know how to win, and they don't have that leadership in coaching, I think, and the front office has done a really poor job. They've gotten worse this year. So it would not surprise me if the Jets go winless this year.
Oh,
Yeah,
me either. I agree on that
me
one.
either. They
So I'm,
they. So here's the thing: if the Jets lose all 16 games, they'd be the third team in NFL history to go 0-16. The Cleveland Browns of 2017, the
The
2008
2008
Detroit
Lions.
Lions, and now the 2020 New York Flying Jets. And you have nobody to blame but the organization. The players are not to blame. It's the organization. They need to
From
fire
top to
Adam from top to bottom. They need a clean house. I'm talking from the water boy to the owner, you know? And Adam Gase, he's not a head coach. He's not.
no,
I,
no.
I'm sorry if there's any Jets fans out there, but I feel the frustration. I know a guy that I was in the Navy with. He's a Jets fan. He has told me multiple times we need to fire Adam Gase, and I agree 110% on this one. They need to fire Adam Gase. They need to go and clean house in the Jets organization and rebuild around Sam Darnold if you're going to make him your franchise quarterback. But I'm not seeing that. I'm seeing,
Yeah.
well, we're going to go draft 20 more quarterbacks in the first round pick and see how crappy our season goes. Just like a reminiscent of Cleveland Browns until they got Baker Mayfield.
and guys, the thing with the Jets are it seems like they're head bent on going down a direction that's not working for them, but they're it's like we're going to stick to this path because we can win when obviously they cannot. And it's been 6 games and they haven't been able and they don't go a different direction. And I think part of that is the front office with some of the trades and some of the hires that they've made with coaching. And I agree with TJ. I don't think it's the players. This is all on the coaching in the front office. These guys are not getting it right, and they've got to get it right because it's not fair to these players. They've got a little bit of talent there, but they don't have the leadership that they need to take it to that next level. So we'll see what happens at the end of this season if this coach will continue with the Jets or not. In my opinion, they need to fire him and rebuild. around Sam Darnold and really give this guy, bring in a coach that can coach him. I heard that the reason they didn't want to fire this head coach is because they thought that this would be the coach that could get Darnold to the next level. I don't see that, and I
I
don't
See
don't.
think,
it.
and I
I
don't
don't
think
see it
this
at
is.
all.
I mean, the only one I'll give the only thing I'll give Adam Gase credit for is Ryan Tannehill. That's about it.
That's it. Back when he was the Dolphins head coach, and my thing is this: you lose a game, a very important game, to the Broncos, right? And both teams were winless coming into that game. You lose barely to the Broncos, and then the next following couple days transpire. You release the one and only weapon that could help Sam Darnold, Le'Veon Bell.
Mm-hmm.
Jets. Who raised you?
I mean, it's just like in the beginning of the season when they traded Jamal Adams, their best defensive player.
That
Oh
that left me out of spiral. I was sitting there like,
yeah.
what are y'all doing? You know?
And that's what we talk about the leadership. It just isn't there. They're going to have to make some changes if they want to be competitive in the NFL. I'm telling you.
Oh yeah.
Next game we got the Green Bay Packers at 4-1. They'll be traveling to play the Houston Texans 1-5. Houston just got their first win. TJ, I'll go with you first. Who do you got, the Packers or the Texans?
I'm gonna go with the cheeseheads on this one. I know the Texans they recently fired Bill O'Brien, just like the Falcons fired Dan Quinn. What the Jets need to start writing notes on. Um, but I just don't see the Texans playing as well against the Packers as they did against the Jags. Um, Jags are a. It just
Oh
seems like a reoccurrence between like the Lions and the Texans. They played against the Jaguars. I'm not discrediting the Jaguars at all. They just don't have an identity. And the Texans, they beat the snot out of Jacksonville. Don't
yeah.
get me wrong. But the Packers are just coming off a embarrassing loss against Tom Brady and the Bucks. They're going to look for blood in this one, and I think they're going to get that blood, and I think they're going to slaughter the lamb on this one. They're going to win big on this one.
Seth?
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with TJ here with Green Bay. They're looking to bounce back after that loss they had against Brady last week. But I wouldn't be surprised if Houston wins this game somewhat in a close affair. I mean, I know that they just had a pretty good game this last Sunday that they lost another close one. But of course, you got Green Bay coming in with that fire and energy. I just don't see Houston winning this game, and I'm gonna take Aaron Rodgers and the Packers in this one.
Yeah, I think they're coming out for blood. It was an embarrassing loss for the Packers. They really didn't compete uh, against the Buccaneers, and they're looking for blood. And Aaron Rodgers doesn't lose two in a row, so I think he's going to come out, and I think they're going to win big over Houston. So I'm going to take the Green Bay Packers as well. Next game, we got Seattle Seahawks undefeated 5-0. That's the other undefeated team besides the Titans and the Steelers. They're going to be traveling to Arizona to play the Cardinals 4-2. That's an afternoon game at 3:05. Seth, who do you have, the Seahawks or the Cardinals? This could go either way, I think.
Yeah. Well, like I said earlier, I got the wrong pick earlier. Of course, I'm picking Arizona. I'm picking Arizona. Of course, I made my take on it. Buda Baker had a good game last night. That's going to be the key on defense for them, I think. Because I thought they were pretty well in stopping Zeke last night, and their secondary looked pretty good as well. But of course, you got this high-powered Seahawks offense coming in. Russell Wilson's just out of this world this year, and I'm I'm going to take Arizona winning it by 3. I think they gained a little confidence last night. I think they're going to be real confident coming into that game against Seattle, and I think Seattle might slip up a little bit here on the road. If this was in Seattle, I'd be going the other way though.
TJ?
Just like Seth was saying, it's a toss-up, and both teams are on fire right now, especially Seattle. They they've impressed me on offense, but you gotta look at it this way: they almost lost to the Patriots almost lost to the Patriots at home on the 1 yard line. If it wasn't for that defense, they would have lost that game. But it was a good game, you know. But you look at the Cardinals, I just see the offensive weapons just flying around. Kenyon Drake, he impressed me last night. I'm not gonna lie about that. He really did impress me last night with the way he ran all over the Cowboys offense. Kyler Murray, Seth was telling me the other day, ever since in high school, he's been undefeated at AT&T Stadium. And sure enough, he's still undefeated. I honestly think that it's going to be a really, really high offensive game. But I'm going with the upset with Seth. I'm going with Seattle.
Arizona.
Arizona.
I'll tell you, I think this is going to be a good game. I've been really impressed with Arizona. They got some young guns. They got, DeAndre Hopkins actually already, made that offense a hell of a lot better than it was last year. So he's got weapons. But, man, until somebody beats Seattle, I can't go against them. So when they get the first loss, I'll go against them. They're 5-0, and I'm going to stick with Russell Wilson. I mean, it's just like Tom Brady. It's really hard to pick against him. I know Arizona's playing good football. They're a very dangerous young team. They've got a lot of talent, but you got Russell Wilson right now on the other side, and he's 5-0. There's nothing that tells me that Arizona can beat Seattle. To me, Seattle should take this game. Once they lose, then I might start going, but until somebody beats the Seahawks, I'm going to go with Russell Wilson in Seattle. Next game on the schedule, you got Jacksonville Jaguars at 1-5. They'll be playing the Chargers at 1-4. Seth, I'll go with you first. You and I have talked a lot about the Chargers are better than 1-4.
Yeah,
better. So I'm going to ask you, are you taking the Jags or are you taking the Chargers?
I'm going Herbert in this one. I'm taking the Chargers. Like me and you've talked about the Chargers quite a bit this year, and yes, they are better than their record at 1-4. And I think Herbert's going to have a huge game against this Jacksonville defense, and I see the Chargers winning this one big, probably about 3 to 4 touchdowns plus. TJ.
All right. I got one thing to say. The Herb. I'm going with the Herb and the Chargers. Because that Jacksonville defense and offense have no identity whatsoever. They lost. They won the first game of the season against Phillip Rivers and the Colts. I thought, wow. And I thought maybe Jacksonville is going to prove everybody wrong. Last 5 games, no, they have not proven anybody wrong. They have no-name receivers going out there and trying to win them the game with Gardner Minshew. If they're going to try to – another problem I have with the Jaguars is they're trying to copycat the Jets a little bit, if you notice, because they got rid of some good players in the past. Like, their organization has been terrible too. After that 2017 playoff run into the conference championship game, and they played against the Patriots, and what I thought was they should have won that game. But fast forward in today's, they don't have as much players as they did from 2017 from that roster on that team anymore.
That's another thing me and Gabriel talked about.
Yeah, the only person I see out there is Miles Jack, and that's it. Everybody else has been either traded or released. Leonard Fournette, you get rid of, gone. Unique Ngakwe, gone. Jalen Ramsey, gone.
AJ
Bouye, gone. You have no identity. I'm going with the Chargers by 2 touchdowns. And I lived in Jacksonville for 3 years, so I know the frustration with Jags fans. And I'm sorry for Duval County, 904 area, but LA's got this. I got to go with the young hot rookie Justin Herbert. He is on point. He is on fire, and
He's got targets.
He's got targets. He's got Keenan Allen,
and Mike Williams.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
I'm going with the Chargers with Seth on this one. It's gonna be it's gonna be ugly. It's gonna be ugly for the Jags. So.
Yeah, this is. I'm going with the Chargers. This is a quarterback that's going to be like Burrows. These guys are going to be. They're going to make it in this league. They're going to be Hall of Famers in this league. This kid is young, but he's got the talent in the NFL. Play in the NFL. I know he's 1-4, but in that 1-4 record, the first 5 games, those games could have gone either way that he played. I mean, he really hung in there. Really
he kind of reminds me of a young Brady in a way. I just think he's a Brady with legs.
A Brady with legs. Same way with Burrow. Same way with Burrow.
Same way with Mahomes.
Honestly, I see Joe Burrow. I see Joe Montana a little bit. I see a little bit of Joe Montana and Burrow, but Herbert, I see Brady. I see Brady with legs, and I feel like that the Jaguars, they're going to struggle against Herbert because there's not a whole lot of film on him. If there is, I would watch that Chiefs film. I'd just watch every game film that they have if I were the Jaguars and try to reassess myself. Because this is another team with an organization question mark. Like, it's not the players, it's the organization. Just like the Jets. And that's why I'm going with the Chargers, because Jaguars have no identity and the Jaguars just can't get things right since 2017.
Absolutely. And then our last game that we'll talk about, it's a Monday night game. It's the Chicago Bears at 5-1. They'll be traveling to LA to play the Rams at 4-2. That's an ESPN game at 7:15. TJ, I'll go with you first. Who do you got, man? The Bears or the Rams?
Well, I'm gonna have to go with the Bears, and here's why. Bears, they have a monster of the Midway 2.0 going on right now, and the Rams, they struggled against the 49ers, and I tell you what, the Bears, they are just a monster on defense. Offense, they're still having a little fixes and issues, but they got Nick Foles. Okay, Nick Foles has done a tremendous job, and he honestly, you put him in backup position, he's gonna prove you wrong.
Oh yeah,
he proved it again with Philadelphia, and he's proven it now with Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's a Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah.
And Nick Foles, I have a feeling that the Bears are going to be division champions with Nick Foles if they continue to play the way they're playing right now. And that defense is pretty much the crutch of the team. Not saying they're the bad part of the team. I'm saying they're holding that team up as far as being a crutch. They're holding up. I mean, and the Rams, they struggled bad against the 49ers. I picked them to beat the 49ers, and goodness gracious, it was just a terrible game for Jared Goff and the Rams. So I'm going with the Bears by at least 10 points.
Seth?
Oh man, Gabriel, I'm ready for this one, man. This is when I seen this one this week, I was like, I thought that popped in my head was defense. I mean, on both these teams, you got two of the best defensive players in the league. You got Aaron Donald on the Rams, and you got Khalil Mack on the Bears, man. This is, oh man, I've been ready for this one, man. And Gabriel, we've talked about the Bears a lot in the off season and all that. We were talking about how they potentially have the best defense in the league, and I think that's a true statement. I just thought coming into this year, all they were missing was a quarterback. Because Trubisky struggled. Finally Matt Nagy made the decision to put Nick Foles in there, and you've seen what he's been doing these past few weeks. He's got him at a 5-1 record now. They were unbeaten for a little bit, but they stumbled in a couple games ago. But they still looked good last week. They came back beating Carolina, and man, to me in this one, Gabriel, I'm ready to watch. I'm ready to watch both these guys go to work on the defensive side of the ball. But like TJ said, I'm taking the Bears. I'm taking the Bears. I like what they've done this year. I think that they are a sleeper. They're a sleeper team. And I think that they're gonna, like TJ said, I think they got the defense to win that division. I think because when you've seen it in the past, Khalil Mack, he can get to Rodgers. I mean, the only team in the division they really have to beat is the Packers. And I think that they're going to beat the Rams, and I think it's going to be by at least 6 to 10 points, like TJ said. I think this one's going to be a real big defensive battle going in to this is the Monday night game, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, going into the Monday night game. I think it's going to be a defensive battle. I'm ready to watch Darnold versus Mack.
Well, I'll tell you this. I'm going with the Bears too. And if you're Chicago, if you're Nick Foles, all you have to do is really stay within the system.
Yeah.
Because you got such a good defense. Just don't turn the ball over. Don't make a mistake. Stay within the system and probably win the game, because that's how good the defense is. If he doesn't turn the ball over, put that defense in an awkward situation, that defense is going to pull out wins for you. So he just has to stay within the system, not turn the ball over, make plays, and just get up there. Because this team could potentially beat a lot of these teams with 3 field goals. I mean, this is how good this team is, the defense. So I look for them to beat the Rams because simply the Rams really got beat by the 49ers. They got beat, and this was not even a 49er team. So I think the Bears are rolling, and I think that they're going to win. So, guys, this concludes the 365 Sports Talk.
Can I say one more thing, Gabriel?
Sure.
The last thing I got on that game is the only key I got for Nick Foles is watch out for Darnold. Donald. That's all I got on that.
Yeah, that guy's a beast.
I think that's everybody's game plan is to watch out for Aaron Donald. But if I were the Rams,
side of the ball, Jared Goff has for Khalil Mack. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta watch out for Khalil Mack too. So it's gonna be. I'm not discrediting the Rams. I'm just going off of what they are coming off of last week.
I'm ready to see defensive players go at each other.
I think it's going to be a defensive struggle, like Seth was saying, but I think that the Bears got it by 10.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one, guys, and I'm going to go with the Bears. It's going to be a good Monday night showdown. So I'll definitely be tuning into that. So that concludes week 7 of our NFL predictions. And so we're going to start because TJ's with us now. So we're going to start mid-season, you could say, tallying up the points. So next week, we'll break this game down on Monday. The guys will be back, and we'll break these games down and see how we did on our predictions. And then next Tuesday, when we do week 8 of the predictions, before we start that podcast, I'll let you guys know the record as far as how TJ did, where Seth stands, and where I stand with our predictions. So we'll be coming back to talk. I believe it's on Monday. Seth will be breaking down week 7 of the NFL, so be looking out for that. And we'll be coming up here shortly with the Gridiron 64, where we'll be doing the high school week 9 of the high school playoffs. So that'll be interesting as well. We'll be doing that in about 10-15 minutes. But this concludes week 7. I had a great time with you guys. First time TJ was with us. He did awesome. Brought some insight. That's why he's here, to bring the insight on some of these teams. And he'll be with us pretty much as much as he can, as much as his schedule will allow him to be. So I look forward to having him on our podcast. We'll be bringing up some guests as well. So if you guys have any friends that want to chime in and be guests, hey, they're more than welcome to come in. The more the merrier. We have more fun. So before I shut it down, guys, TJ, I'll give it to you. Is there anything you want to add before we say adios?
I just got to say this. besides the NFL, oh, by the way, thank you for having me on your podcast. I've had a tremendous time being on this podcast with my boy Seth, and I'm glad to call you a friend, Gabriel. And I look forward to keep doing this stuff with you guys. And another thing I want to bring up is Texas Longhorn football. Oh boy, uh, man, we started off great against UTEP, right? So rant mode is about to extinguish now. So we played Texas Tech, and we're projected to win by at least 2 touchdowns. We go into overtime, and we struggled all game. I don't know what it is with Texas and Big 12 play, but we have struggled since last season against teams that we shouldn't have beat or we shouldn't have lost to, And we shouldn't have lost to Oklahoma. We shouldn't have lost, or we shouldn't have struggled. We shouldn't have lost to TCU. Keontae Ingram, what were you thinking? You shouldn't have extended your arm out. You should have bounced it to the outside. There was an opening for that end zone. I don't know what's going on, but Tom Herman has to figure things out with that team. Tom Herman has to put a fire under their rear ends and figure out what the problem is. If it has something to do with the eyes of Texas, I'm not going to bring my personal views on it, but they need to let it go because they're causing yourselves to lose games due to that. Or if there's backstage drama like they did last
Which has
season,
nothing to do with the game at all. Other than it being your school song, fight song.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing with that too. That could also cause stress and them to lose focus in a game,
Yeah.
So if they have backstage drama like they did last season with the wide receiver coach talking to the players last season, I just think that Texas needs to wake up and quit saying that we're back because clearly we're not. And that last game against Oklahoma just really infuriated me. And I've been watching other podcasts for Longhorn Nation, and they are just as mad as I am. They have said the same stressors as I've been saying. And Tom, if you're listening to this, if you're listening to any podcast out there, you need to start acting like Mike Leach. I'm not saying go find pirate wear or whatever. Like, get in their rear ends like Mike Leach does. Like, if you watch a YouTube video with Mike Leach, and I've shown Seth this video, he really puts it on that Texas Tech team. They barely lost to a Texas team that went to the national championship, and he didn't give them no sugarcoat. I'll tell you that right now. And that's why Mike Leach is one of my favorite coaches in college football today. But Tom, I like you as a coach, but you need to start being a coach and not a friend. Look at me in my eyes, Tom. Be a coach, not a friend.
That's right.
That's all I got to say about that. So,
hey TJ, man, I feel your hurt, man. I feel your pain as well. Believe me.
yeah.
I'm over here hurting with you, man. It was a tough loss to take.
I came to Seth's house that day. I came to his house that day, and I curled up in a ball. I was so hurt.
Hey man, I feel y'all's pain, man. We'll see what happens this weekend. I feel your pain. We shouldn't have lost to those games, but a mistake here, a mistake there, man, really turns the momentum around, and here we are. But Texas really hasn't been playing that good either. They've had to come from behind. They've got to be able to win some games. Season's not over yet. We'll see what happens as they continue to play this week.
We're going to shine the Big 12.
we'll just go from there. But Seth, you have anything else you want to add before we say our
Um, nah, I'm good on it. I'm just that we're gonna. Oh, actually, yeah, I don't forget. I forgot I was gonna remind the fans about this all week. You know, coming up on Saturday, UFC 254 will be Khabib Nurmagomedov 28-0 versus Justin Gaethje for the unified lightweight belt. We'll be breaking that one down. Think what Saturday morning, Friday afternoon, Gabriel.
I think we'll talk about it. I think on Saturday morning before the fight, and then I think on Sunday we will break down the fight. So we'll make the predictions on the card, and then on Sunday we'll break it down. Sunday evening we'll talk about the fight, and we'll break it down about the win and the loss, and just breaking down the fights. And so it'll be exciting. So tune into UFC on Saturday morning for the predictions on the fights, and then Sunday it'll be the breakdown. The guys, myself and the guys will be here breaking down the UFC. So that's going to be part of 365 Pro Sports. So anybody that likes UFC, tune in and you can comment if you agree with the guys, if you don't agree with the guys. And like I said, you can even be a guest. All you got to do is, look at our social media pages on Facebook and Twitter. These guys also have their personal emails. So if you want to talk to one individually, you can look up their emails and you can send them a personal email. These guys will get back to you once they check it out. So be looking out for 365 Pro Sports. Be a subscriber if you like our topics and what we talk about on our YouTube channel. And then we also have the Facebook and Twitter page. And here soon we'll also be on Spotify as well. So that's exciting to have. So guys, if we have nothing else, we'll call it adios. And we'll take about a good 10-minute break. And then we'll jump into the Gridiron 64 and we'll talk high school. So until then, guys, peace out. And we're going to go ahead and I'll leave with about a 30-second song that goes sporty,
Yeah, gotcha.
Oh yeah.